Hello, everybody. Today's October 21st and reading from Revelation chapter 14. Now, in this chapter, verse 1 again looks to the victory of the Lord Jesus Christ. And there ought to never be any question in your mind who will prevail in the end. And there we have it, the Lamb standing on Mount Zion, with him 144,000 having his Father's name written on their forehead. So you see 144,000 are in heaven having a great time. And here they are worshiping and the splendor of this as they have their vantage point from heaven's perspective. But the 144,000 are the Jewish believers. These are those who come to the realization that Jesus is the Messiah. Now, understand the book of Daniel talks about this, that the Antichrist is initially going to be seen as a great world leader, and he's going to unite the world with a sense of bringing resolve to the financial crisis and all of the plagues and everything that's going on in the world. So they will look to him, and he will appear to be a decent man. And in fact, even the Jew, the Israel, will make a covenant with the Antichrist, a treaty. And then about 3.5 years into this treaty, the Antichrist will break the treaty, and he will do some horrible things that will show his true colors, that he's evil and he's wicked and demonic. And the Jews will realize that they have been deceived and they've been misled. And it's during this time that the 144,000 Jews then are understanding that Jesus is the Messiah. And they begin to go as evangelists and to share the gospel of Jesus Christ. And Jews begin to come to the awareness of who Jesus Christ is. And so all of the Holocaust comes in the final focus here in Armageddon. And again, much of this I can only skim on, and we'll talk in more detail on Sunday mornings. But look in verse 14, because this is where judgment comes to a head. Remember, all the armies are surrounding Israel, Jerusalem, and God's going to intervene. God's not going to allow Israel to be destroyed. That's holy land. That's a holy covenant promise there. God's going to set up Jesus is going to set up his kingdom right there. And so don't understand, many of the things that have transpired over the last, since 1948 has been supernatural. How in a day, Israel became a nation after 2,000 years. And all of the timetable is in place. And you know, just it's remarkable to consider the fact that is going to be the place that God is going to, he will not lie and he will not back down from his covenant promises. Look in verse 4, it says, "Then I looked and behold a white cloud, and on the cloud sat one like the Son of Man, having on his head a golden crown, and in his hand a sharp sickle." Now, this is portraying Jesus coming. A sickle is always a sign of judgment and the reaping what you deserve. And so two things happen here. There will be those who have given their lives to Christ, who have persevered, who have not taken the mark, and they've not compromised. And that's the reason it says in verse 13, "Blessed are the dead who die in the Lord." Because you know what? You may suffer, they may be persecuted, they may be tortured, they may be beheaded because they won't renounce their faith. And this is what's going to happen, is that they're going to put people who are professing Christ that refuse the mark, and they're going to give them an option here. Listen, if you'll renounce Jesus and pledge your loyalty to the beast and take the mark of the beast, then we will not kill you. We will not torture you. Will not torture your children. All you got to do is say, that you will pledge allegiance to the beast. And you know what happens is that people that resist that, people say, "No, I'm going to live for Jesus." They're going to be beheaded. They're going to be killed. And the Bible tells me, verse 12, "Here's the patience of the saints. Here are those who keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus. Blessed are the dead who die in the Lord. So, they may suffer, they may die, but they're going, next breath they'll be in heaven. But that's not the case in this judgment of God with the sickle, when he comes down as the commander of the army. And the Bible speaks about in verse 20, the bloodshed. That's going to be the slaughter when God intervenes. The winepress says was trampled outside the city, and the blood came out of the winepress up to the horse's bridle. It says 100,000 for 1,600 furlongs, and that is 200 miles. Now I understand this about blood being 4 or 5 feet deep. I don't know if it's riverbed, I don't know what it is, but I know that the Bible cannot lie, and the bloodshed is going to be enormous. And 200 miles, the length of Israel. Okay, it's the length of Israel. God's going to come, and he's going to stand on their behalf. And both are going to receive the fruit of their labor. And those that rejected Christ and took the beast or the mark, and those that turned their back on Jesus, the judgments are going to fall. And the full wrath of God's going to come. And there'll be no escaping it. And they're going to plunge headlong right into hell. And they'll never escape it. It will be the ongoing, never-ending judgment. But for those who are faithful, who've stood with Jesus, obeyed his commandments, and would not bend, and would not bow, and would not take the mark, and we're told that they're going to enter in to the reward of their labor. And can you imagine what heaven's going to be like? And yes, on the one side, the woeing over the judgments falling on the earth. But on the other hand, these mighty martyrs who have given it all to live for Jesus, and the incredible celebration that there will be in heaven. I'll tell you one thing, these words ought to cause you and I to do a deep searching, inward reflection, because there's no question which side we want to be on. And there's no question who's going to win in the end. Again, the devil is the great deceiver, but he's the one that's been deceived. And it will come to an end. And Jesus will prevail. And we will be reigning with Christ. And we will be serving with Christ in a new kingdom, a new heaven, and a new earth. And you don't want to miss out on this. I pray the power of Jesus Christ will just erupt on the inside of you as you consider. Many people don't want to read the book of Revelations because they fear that it's telling of things to come of which they'll be a part of. But I'm telling you, we're not going to be here. Not those of us who've chosen to be waiting and expecting the return of Jesus. We won't have to worry about these horrors. But boy, we've got to do everything we can to win the lost at any cost, to warn people of the upcoming judgments and why it's the hour short. And what we do, we must do quickly. Give your life to Jesus. Live for him. We got a great work ahead of us. And I pray today you'll walk with a sense of the tremendous blessing that we have being the people of God. May the Lord bless you today.